Harley Davidson first debuted the Breakout as a CVO Twin Cam 110B model in 2013. Normally things work the other way around, with an existing model getting the CVO treatment as a factory special edition, but this time around they decided to mark the launch of Breakout with the full custom vehicle operations treatment from birth. Breakout then became a mainstream Harley model the following year in Twin Cam 103 form, before CVO again worked their magic with the Pro Street Breakout 110 in 2016. The mainstream Breakout was then endowed with the Milwaukee Eight 107 and 114 cubic inch motors when the new engine design came online for the 2017 model year. The Milwaukee 8 mil was a huge step forward for Harley and an engine I have been a big fan of since inception. For 2023, the Breakout now gets the 117 cube version of Milwaukee 8 complete with a heavy breather intake. A thumb of the starter sees the big mill instantly burst into life and settle down to a fast idle of around 1100 RPM. Once warmed up, it smoothly idles around 850 RPM. I can't help but think heavy breather is something of a misnomer in this case. Not that long ago Harleys actually sounded like a heavy breathing asthmatic struggling to draw breath, especially on start-up, but there is no perceptible intake noise with this latest setup. That actually seems a little strange as there is not a whole lot of surface area in the washable exposed element filter. Essentially, that heavy breather intake serves as the air box, as after it turns 90 degrees towards the engine, it mates directly to the single 55mm throttle body, which then feeds each of the 961 cubic centimeters cylinders. The whole intake run from outside the filter, to the throttle body and then into the plumbing that routes the intake charge between the 45-degree slanted cylinders, right through to the 41.7mm intake valves, can be no longer than a few inches. Thus it is remarkable that this huge engine is so well mannered, so smooth and so bloody good. At 100 km/h in sixth, it is turning through that long 114.3mm stroke only 2,240 times per minute, just purring along effortlessly. Double that and the mill is still spinning smoothly. Only the lack of wind protection that turns your torso into a windsock makes you want to call it a day about there. All the M8 engines are purlers. This 2023 iteration of the 117 is the best yet. There is an almost endless list of aftermarket options to make these motors into absolute monsters. I don't think I would bother. The engine as it is delivers just fine and runs so beautifully. Replacing the mufflers with something that has a little more bark would be about as far as I would go, but I would certainly keep the exhaust on the right side of inoffensive to ensure it doesn't become tiresome. I also like the lines of the twin mufflers reaching right back past the axle. A long 2-into-1 would suit me just fine too, I reckon. When its predecessor was launched in 2018, Harley opted to eliminate much of the Breakout's chrome, following custom bike trends at the time toward a more blacked-out look. The same update saw the Breakout adopt the then all-new Softail frame and swap out its old 5.0-gallon tank for smaller 3.5-gallon design. The new 2023 machine reverses some of those changes, keeping the improved chassis but reverting to the 5.0-gallon fuel tank and substantially raising the chrome quotient. Breakout was originally conceived as the modern chopper, long, low and wide, 240mm tire. The previous version to this, launched in 2018, had a bit darker finish execution, but we put a ton of chrome on this motorcycle. We had some pretty strong feedback from international markets where Breakout is really popular, and they were asking us to switch it up a bit and go back into chrome. We're seeing chrome as making a comeback. While the old generation Breakout was offered in 107 and 114 CI versions, the new one comes only with the biggest 117 CI derivative of the Milwaukee 8, promising around 125 pound-feet of torque. Other tweaks include a new riser that makes the handlebars 3/4 of an inch taller, the heavy breather intake that's shared with other 117 models,